Have you ever wondered if the very room you trust to restore your energy, your bedroom, might actually be draining it? Night after night. For adults over 65, this concern is more than just a passing worry. It's a silent issue growing inside millions of homes, often without notice. You're doing all the right things, eating healthy, staying active, following your doctor's advice. Yet, you still wake up groggy, heavy, or unrested. The culprit, it might be resting right beside your pillow. In today's video, we're uncovering 5 everyday objects in your bedroom that could be exposing you to low-level radiation, interfering with your sleep, your focus, and even your heart health. These are not dramatic sci-fi dangers. They're simple household items most people never question but should. And here's the good news: with just a few small changes, you can create a calm, restorative sleep space that truly supports your body. Before we dive in, I'd love to know, where in the world are you watching from? And what time is it right now? Share it in the comments below. Every message brings this community closer, and it means more than you think. And if you find this kind of gentle, life-enhancing advice helpful, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Because every senior deserves a bedroom that heals, not harms, every single night. For many older adults, the bedroom is meant to be a quiet sanctuary, a place to rest and renew. But tucked away just a few inches from your head each night might be something silently interfering with that healing process. It doesn't make noise, it doesn't blink, and it hardly draws your attention. Yet, its presence may be impacting your sleep far more than you realize. I'm talking about the digital alarm clock. For decades, it has sat faithfully on the nightstand. But what most people don't realize is that many digital clocks, especially those that plug directly into the wall, emit a steady stream of electromagnetic fields known as EMFs. These invisible fields radiate continuously, day and night, as long as the device is connected to power. And when that clock is just 6 or 12 inches from your head, as it often is for people who sleep with it beside their pillow, the exposure becomes constant, focused, and quietly harmful. Your brain, your nervous system, and even your immune system are sensitive to these subtle energies. As we age, our bodies naturally lose some of their ability to repair and protect themselves, which makes seniors more vulnerable to environmental stressors like EMF exposure. A teenager might not feel a thing, but for someone in their 70s, even small background signals can add to the body's burden, especially during sleep, when healing is supposed to happen. If you've ever woken up after a full night's rest, still feeling tired, mentally foggy, or with a nagging headache that seems to come from nowhere, you're not alone. These symptoms are often blamed on aging, but sometimes the cause is simpler and easier to fix. Let me tell you about Carol, a 74-year-old grandmother from Wisconsin. She ate clean, avoided caffeine after lunch, and practiced deep breathing before bed. Still, she struggled with restless nights and woke up each morning feeling like she hadn't slept at all. After reading a short article about EMFs in the bedroom, she took a closer look around her space and noticed her digital clock had been sitting just 1 foot from her pillow for years. She swapped it out for a small battery-powered analog clock and placed it across the room. Within a week, the change was remarkable. Carol began sleeping through the night without waking. The morning headaches disappeared, her energy lifted. It felt like my brain could finally breathe again, she told her daughter. Emerging research supports Carol's experience. Studies show that EMF exposure can suppress melatonin production, the hormone that regulates your sleep cycles and helps your body fight inflammation and illness. Without it, even 8 hours of sleep might not feel refreshing. So what can you do? Start by moving your digital clock at least 6 feet away from where you sleep. Or better yet, consider switching to a battery-powered clock with no EMF emissions at all. Sometimes, the most meaningful improvements in your health begin with something as small as what you keep beside your bed. To many seniors, The bedroom is their safe haven, a quiet place to retreat from the world, recharge, and feel at peace. But what if, without realizing it, something silent and invisible in that very space is quietly draining your energy, fogging your mind, and affecting your heart while you sleep? It may sound far-fetched, but growing research is pointing to a hidden disruptor in millions of homes: the Wi-Fi router. If you're over 65, your body doesn't respond to environmental stress the way it used to. One of the most vulnerable areas is your blood-brain barrier, a natural filter that protects your brain from harmful substances. As we age, this barrier becomes thinner, weaker, and more permeable. Now imagine placing a wireless device like a router that emits radio frequency waves just a few feet from your bed. Operating 24 hours a day, these pulses may not be loud, but your body can feel them. That's because these low-level frequencies, known as EMFs, don't just stay in the air. They penetrate walls, tissues, and yes, even your brain. While a younger person's body may easily compensate, older adults are more sensitive, especially during deep sleep, when the body and brain are supposed to repair and detoxify. Instead of resting, your body may be working overtime under stress. It can't fully process. Have you ever gone to bed early, expecting a full night's sleep, only to wake up feeling groggy, heavy, or mentally scattered? It's easy to blame it on aging, but sometimes the cause is right next to you: quiet, constant, and overlooked. Let me introduce you to Franklin, a retired electrician in his 70s living in rural Oregon, always a tech-savvy guy. He had set up his home to be fully connected from his tablet to his smart lights. His Wi-Fi router sat on the nightstand just 6 feet from where he slept. For years, he brushed off the small changes, forgetting where he placed things, stumbling over names, waking up with a racing heart, or feeling unsteady on his feet. His doctor couldn't find anything serious, but something still felt off. Then one day, Franklin read an article about wireless signals in aging. Out of curiosity, he unplugged the router from his bedroom and moved it to the garage. He even added a timer to shut it off automatically from 11 at night to 7 in the morning. What happened next surprised him. Within 2 weeks, he reported clearer thinking, more restful sleep, and no more fluttering sensations in his chest. His wife noticed it too. Franklin was more present, less forgetful, and seemed lighter in spirit. Science is beginning to back up what Franklin experienced. Studies show that constant EMF exposure can disrupt melatonin, the hormone that controls sleep and helps the brain recover. It can also affect heart rate variability, which plays a role in your cardiovascular stability. So what's the takeaway? You don't have to give up modern technology, but you can make it work with your biology, not against it. Try placing your Wi-Fi router as far from your bed as possible. Use a basic outlet timer to shut it off while you sleep. And if you're open to it, consider switching to a wired Ethernet connection, at least for your bedroom. These small adjustments might seem insignificant, but in later life, even tiny changes can have major benefits. Your brain needs darkness, quiet, and safety to heal. And your heart deserves a break from the invisible noise. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your health isn't adding more, it's gently removing what shouldn't have been there in the first place. There's something reassuring about walking into a bedroom that smells fresh and clean. A gentle scent can make the space feel warm, peaceful, and cared for. Many older adults, especially those living alone, use air fresheners not just for fragrance, but to create a sense of comfort and familiarity. But what if that familiar scent is doing more harm than good, especially to your lungs, your sleep, and your energy levels? Let's take a closer look at one common household item: the plug-in air freshener. These devices are popular for good reason. They're easy to use, inexpensive, and promise long-lasting fragrance. But what many people don't know is that they don't just release pleasant smells, When plugged in, they also emit electromagnetic fields, EMFs, and volatile organic compounds, VOCs, two hidden risks that often go unnoticed. EMFs are a form of low-level radiation that come from any electronic device connected to power. While they don't make noise or give off heat, they constantly radiate into the surrounding environment. At the same time, VOCs are tiny chemical particles released into the air to carry synthetic fragrances. During sleep, when breathing becomes slower and deeper, these particles are inhaled more deeply into the lungs. For younger, healthier individuals, this combination might not cause obvious issues. But for seniors, whose lungs have aged and become more sensitive, the burden becomes heavier. Natural lung elasticity decreases with time, and the airways take longer to recover from irritation. Continued exposure to artificial chemicals and EMFs during sleep may lead to symptoms like chronic coughing, chest tightness, disrupted rest, or morning fatigue. Let me introduce you to Martha, a 76-year-old woman from North Carolina. She had always prided herself on keeping a neat, welcoming home. Her bedroom had a soft lavender fragrance every night, thanks to a small plug-in freshener near her nightstand. But over the past year, Martha began noticing a dry throat in the mornings. Then came the lingering cough, the congestion, and the shortness of breath. She blamed it on pollen, tried over-the-counter medicine, and even installed a humidifier, but nothing worked. The real surprise came when Martha spent a week visiting her grandson in another town. His home had no air fresheners, just open windows and fresh air. By the third night, her symptoms eased. She slept better. She woke up clearer. It was a small but powerful realization. When she returned home, her daughter gently encouraged her to try removing the plug-in devices. Though hesitant at first, Martha agreed. They replaced the fresheners with small bowls of baking soda to absorb odors and placed a few cotton balls with essential oils far away from the bed. Within days, Martha felt the difference again: deeper breathing, less coughing, and more restful sleep. Her doctor was amazed at how quickly her respiratory symptoms improved after such a simple change. Studies now support these experiences. Chemicals like formaldehyde, benzene, and phthalates, commonly found in synthetic air fresheners, have been linked to irritation and inflammation of the respiratory system. Combined with low-level EMF exposure near the head, the impact on senior health becomes more significant during sleep. So what can you do? Start by unplugging any electric air fresheners, especially if they're close to your bed. Replace them with natural alternatives: baking soda, essential oils placed across the room, or sachets filled with dried herbs. These options keep your space pleasant without compromising your health. Your bedroom should be a place where your body can rest without interference. And sometimes, protecting your well-being isn't about giving up comfort, it's about choosing comfort that heals instead of harms. On cold evenings, a few things feel more inviting than sliding into a warm bed. For many older adults, especially those living in chilly climates or managing joint pain, an electric blanket or heating pad feels like the perfect answer. The warmth it provides brings comfort, eases stiffness, and helps lull the body to sleep. But what if this nightly warmth was silently doing more harm than good electric blankets? And plug-in heating pads work by sending electric currents through wires sewn into the fabric. These currents generate heat, but they also produce something less obvious: an electromagnetic field, commonly known as EMF. While this field is invisible, it surrounds your body the entire time the device is on. And since electric blankets lie directly on your skin, the exposure is continuous and close, especially across the chest, abdomen, and legs, key areas where your organs rest and heal during sleep. For younger people, this exposure might not cause noticeable problems. But for seniors over 65, things change. As the body ages, it becomes less able to regulate inflammation and repair damage. Constant EMF exposure during rest may interfere with these healing processes. It can quietly increase stress at the cellular level, trigger low-grade inflammation, and disrupt the very rest your body needs most. Let me tell you about Harold, a 74-year-old former teacher from Oregon. Harold relied on his electric blanket during the long winter months. He used it every night, letting it run all the way until morning. He believed it helped his aching hips. But over time, he began waking up stiff, more tired, and occasionally feeling a strange fluttering in his chest. He brushed it off as normal aging until his daughter, Anursa, asked if he had ever considered turning the blanket off before falling asleep. Skeptical but open, Harold agreed to try a change. He swapped his electric blanket for layers of flannel sheets, a wool throw, and a down comforter. For added warmth, he used a hot water bottle at his feet and microwaved a rice-filled sock to preheat the bed. Within 2 weeks, Harold noticed a big difference. His sleep became deeper. The morning stiffness lessened. The odd chest flutters stopped. He even said he felt more mentally sharp during the day. Research now backs up stories like Harold's. Some studies show that prolonged exposure to low-level EMFs, especially while sleeping, may increase inflammation markers by over 30% in older adults. These changes aren't always felt right away, but over time, they may chip away at heart health, mobility, and sleep quality. So what can you do? First, if you love your electric blanket, use it only to warm the bed before sleep. Then unplug it. Once you're under the covers, never sleep with it running all night. Better yet, switch to natural insulators like wool, cotton flannel, or down, which trap heat effectively without producing EMFs. You can also use safe warming methods like hot water bottles or microwave-safe rice bags that deliver gentle heat without any radiation. As we age, even small choices can make a big impact. Your body is already working hard each night to recover and protect you. By giving it a cleaner, calmer sleep environment, one without invisible electrical stress, you support the healing it's trying to do. Comfort is important, but protection is too. Sometimes, a small step like unplugging a device can lead to brighter mornings and a stronger, steadier you. As we age, our relationship with comfort transforms. A chilly evening that once felt manageable may now feel like a wall of cold air that keeps us from relaxing. Muscles tighten more quickly, and a room that used to be cozy can suddenly feel inhospitable. For many older adults, especially those living in colder regions, electric blankets or heating pads become nightly companions. They offer warmth, soothe stiffness, and help ease the body into rest. But what if that warmth carried an invisible cost? Few people discuss the hidden impact of low-frequency electromagnetic fields, or EMFs, that electric heating devices emit. These fields, while weaker than those from microwaves or cell towers, are still a form of non-ionizing radiation, and unlike a lamp or a television that sits across the room, electric blankets lie directly against your skin for hours, exactly when your body is supposed to be in deep healing mode. This kind of prolonged, close-range exposure can interfere with how your cells restore themselves, especially as we age. Older bodies, more vulnerable to inflammation and oxidative stress, may quietly react to EMFs. You may wake up with stiffness, an aching back, or a restless feeling you can't explain. These symptoms can easily be mistaken for normal aging, but sometimes they are signals that your body is under silent stress. Take Harold. For example, a 73-year-old widower from Vermont. Harold had used his electric heating pad every winter for over a decade. He relied on it to ease his joint pain and keep warm on frigid nights. But last January, something shifted. He began waking up feeling foggy, with tension in his shoulders and an unusual flutter in his chest. Nothing severe, just unsettling. His doctor found no urgent issues, but Harold felt something was off. Then he came across an article about EMFs and sleep in older adults. Curious, Harold stored away his heating pad and changed his nighttime routine. He switched to a thick wool comforter, layered his bed with flannel sheets, and even added a quilt his granddaughter had made. Before bed, he warmed a cloth rice bag in the microwave and slipped it under the covers for a few minutes to take the edge off the cold. He always removed it before sleep. Within 3 weeks, Harold felt different. His joints ached less. His heart fluttered less often, and he woke up feeling mentally sharper and physically more at ease. He didn't change his diet or his medications, just how he kept warm. Science backs his experience. EMF exposure during sleep, especially from close contact sources like electric blankets, has been linked to an increase in inflammatory cytokines. These are the molecules that trigger immune responses, but when elevated too long, they contribute to long-term fatigue, joint pain, and cardiovascular stress. You don't need to fear warmth. You just need to choose how to create it. Use natural materials like wool, fleece, or flannel. Consider hot water bottles or microwave-warmed rice packs that radiate heat without EMFs. And if you still use an electric blanket, preheat the bed. Then unplug it before sleep. In the end, comfort and protection can go hand in hand. Restful sleep is not a luxury. It is your body's nightly medicine. Give it the peace it needs to do its job well. As we grow older, our bodies become more attuned to the subtle things that often go unnoticed. It's not just the big changes that matter, but the quiet forces around us, the ones we don't see, hear, or even think about. For many seniors, the very place meant for peace and restoration, the bedroom, can unknowingly be filled with small stressors. A blinking digital clock, a phone charging next to your pillow, a Wi-Fi router humming nearby, or an electric blanket that stays on all night. These devices may seem harmless, even comforting, but they quietly release energy and chemical signals that the aging body can feel more deeply. At night, when your body is supposed to heal, regenerate, and find balance, these invisible waves can interfere, not with a loud bang, but slowly stealing a bit of your rest, nudging your heart rhythm off track, making your joints stiffer, your mind a little foggier. And the older we get, the more vulnerable we become to even the smallest disruption. That's not a cause for fear, it's a call for awareness. The good news is that healing begins not with drastic overhauls, but with gentle, intentional changes. Moving your phone across the room, unplugging the air freshener near your head, turning off your electric blanket before falling asleep. These actions take less than a minute, but they offer your body something priceless, a better chance to truly rest. Your bedroom can become a sanctuary again, a space free of noise, clutter, or unnecessary interference. A place where every breath feels easy and every hour of sleep works for you, not against you. You've lived through decades of change, resilience, and growth. Now, let your nighttime environment reflect the same care and strength that carried you this far. I want to thank you deeply for sharing this time with me today. If something in this message sparked a new thought or gave you a sense of encouragement, write the word hope in the comments below, or share one small change you're ready to make tonight for better sleep and deeper peace. If you found this video meaningful, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future content made just for you. And if you have a loved one over 60 who might benefit from a more restful night, consider sending this their way. It could make all the difference. Until we meet again, may your nights be gentle, your mornings refreshing, and your heart filled with quiet strength. Take care, and I'll see you soon.